Hey, good morning and welcome to the Daily Voiceover Huddle. Today we're going to talk about the the two, the two sides of the voiceover coin. Really important stuff today. In addition to that, it's Q&A Friday, so if you've got a question burning on your mind regarding voiceover, be sure to throw it up in the live stream chat. So glad you're here. Take a moment, whether you have a question or not, make sure you let me know your name and where you're watching or listening from, and we'll try to do a little roll call this morning. Yesterday wasn't able to do that because of some other business side that I had to tend to, but it is good to be here with you this morning. Good to wrap up another week. And thought we would talk a little bit about the two sides of the voiceover coin. What are those two sides? Well, they are the performance side of voiceover, your product, and there's the business side of voiceover. It's how you get clients, it's how you market to clients, it's how you get your money, it's how you operate the business of voiceover. And to be a successful voiceover talent in 2023, you have to understand and be able to execute both sides of that coin. So that's what makes this a challenge for folks who've been doing this for a long time, voiceover talent who got back into this pre all of this technology revolution where we don't need agents. We can work directly with clients. We have to do our own marketing. Because back in the day, when your agent did everything, all you were a performer. Performers tend to be emotional creatures, right? I mean, and I'm speaking as one. I get it. Um, it's to be a good performer, you need to you have to have mastery of your emotions. You have to understand what emotion is required in which context, the script that you're delivering, and you have to understand how to feel it. You have to understand how to deliver it in a way that causes the listener to be able to feel it as well, because that's how you book work. That's how you get repeat work. That's how you make money in voiceover from a performance and a product standpoint. I think we all know that. We've talked about that. But the other side of this is the business side. The business side it demands virtually no emotion. It's a, and that's what can be a challenge in voiceover because you have to be able to walk on both sides of that fence. Otherwise, you'll never be successful in voiceover. And voiceover can be a very, it can be a bumpy road. I've had days and weeks where I thought, wow, I can't believe it was such a bad week just because the amount of work or the lack of the amount of work I've had. I've also had, you know, I've had five-figure months where I've made between like 50 and $75,000 within a 4-week period and thought, wow, this is the greatest thing in the world. And the reality is nothing is ever as bad or as good as it seems at the time. When you have a week or a month like that, you feel like you can do no wrong. But you go a couple of days and there's nothing going on, you feel like the biggest failure in the world. And that's when you have to control your emotions. Save that for the scripts. When it comes to this, you've heard me say this so much, you're probably sick of hearing me say it, but I'm going to say it again because it's so true and you need to understand this, that the business of voiceover is a numbers game. It's nothing more, it's nothing less. If you were to become a professional gambler, one of the first things you would have to learn is to take emotion out of the calculation. I met a professional gambler back a number of years ago when I was in Las Vegas, in Vegas, and I had the most interesting conversation. Before I met the guy, I was told I'd be introduced. He was a friend of a friend that I'd be introduced to him. I figured he'd be what I would consider to be the stereotypical high roller kind of guy, flashy, somewhat arrogant, that kind of personality. It was the exact opposite. The kind of guy that if you met him and 10 minutes later somebody asked you about him, you might not even remember who he was. He seemed unremarkable because he understood that he couldn't stand out in a crowd. That's like rule one. The other thing was he was committed. He understood the numbers of the casino. He didn't play for fun. For him, gambling wasn't fun. It was business. And so he didn't do the things that he thought were most fun. He did the things that were mundane, that were monotonous, the things that the typical gambler, recreational gambler, would never do. But he understood the numbers involved. And he understood if he did it long, if he spent the hours hours upon hours required to do the right things. The numbers would always turn out in his favor instead of the casino's favor. You have to approach business, any business, but certainly in voiceover, like a surgeon. You have to be completely objective and understand that there is an ebb and a flow. But if you do the right things, if you practice the right strategies and you execute them, another word you've heard me say over and over again, execution. If you do the thing day in and day out, you can't help but be successful because the numbers always work out. The law of numbers never lie. They always work out. So understand there are two sides of the coin, and you have to delineate, differentiate what they are. You have to understand the performance is a totally different ballgame, an animal, than the business side. Performance demands that you understand and master emotion. Business demands that you completely divorce and separate yourself from that and look at things objectively. And the sooner that you can begin to do that, the more smoothly your emotions will start to smooth out, because nothing will seem too so awesome that you become arrogant and undefeatable, or so bad that you're life's biggest failure. And why did you ever consider doing this? You will know that beyond the emotion is basically a calculation. It's a formula that if you follow that, you cannot help but be successful. And as a voiceover coach, I hope you understand by now, that's what I'm about teaching. That's why I coach people the way I do. That's why I have the voiceover blueprint. It's a formula. It's a blueprint. It's a plan. You follow it. Take out the emotion when it comes to the business part, and you're going to be successful. So something for you to chew on this weekend. So let's go and take a look and see what's happening in the live chat this morning. See who's here, what's going on, what's on your mind. And by the way, today is a busy day. I'm thankful that today looks like I got a lot of work going on. So I'll have to be kind of move along kind of quickly, but let me squeeze in as many questions as I can. We've got Phil in Tokyo, Corey in Wisconsin, Dean in Springfield, Missouri. We've got JR in Austin, Texas, Rebecca in Albion, Michigan, Guy in St. Louis, Wally in Annapolis, Dan in Clarkston, Michigan, Janet in Florida, Denise in Long Island, Doug in Greensboro, North Carolina, Dwight, what's happening in Old Saybrook, Connecticut, Barb in Ann Arbor, Wayne in the Olympic Mountains of Washington, Ryan in Long Island, Corey in Folsom, California, Craig in Winnipeg, just got his third audiobook contract this week. Greg, fantastic. Congrats to you. Bradford in Simpsonville, South Carolina, Sandra in Dallas-Fort Worth, Ethan, Toronto, Jack in Phoenix. We've got Gene in Dallas-Fort Worth, Rusty in the UP of Michigan, Melissa, San Diego, Sean in Grass Lake, Michigan, Claire in Prescott, Arizona, who will be joining the Blueprint soon. Claire, looking forward to having you in the program. There's nothing that feels better that once you know you've got the right plan and you have confidence that this is something that's been done, it's been proven, it's a proven roadmap, then you can divorce yourself from the emotional aspect of it and you just do that work. And when you do, if you're willing to do that work, then success lies ahead. It's exciting and excited to have you join us on that road. Robert, San Antonio, David in Kansas City, what's going on? Bradford, needed to hear this today. Bradford, I'll be honest with you, I have to remind myself of it often, because when you operate the entire business, you don't farm out the non-emotional side to somebody else. We essentially have to do it all ourselves. And so it's art and science, but it takes a lot of practice for sure. John in Memphis, thank you for the kind words. Rob, good morning to you from the back deck in Loveland. I so appreciate your boldness and candor with respect to the reality of building a voiceover business. Thank you, Rob. And Rob knows exactly what I'm talking about, another successful member of the Voiceover Blueprint. Let's see here. Oh, the live stream chat's moving on me. Let me back up here. I must be moving too slow again. It rolls on with or without me. We've got Robert in San Antonio, David in Kansas City, Aaron in Columbia, Missouri, Tyler. Good morning, or Taylor, I should say. I'm so sorry, Taylor. Dan says, great message. Boy, is this true. I have trouble turning off emotions. But getting better. Yeah, Dan, it just takes and another voiceover blueprint member. In as you know, just with practice, experience, just keep following the path, and all will be good. Mark, good morning to you in Eaton, Ohio, home of the Preble County Pork Festival, and the county fair is coming this week. Fantastic. I love it. Liz, good morning from Northern Illinois. Thank you for your kind words. Jolie says, love your practical insights that take the negative drama out of VO and drives objectivity. Well, thank you, Jolie, and another voiceover blueprint student. As you know, it's where it's at because the emotion faster than anything else will hijack you and will derail you and take you off down a road. And that's why a lot of people, especially voiceover talent, who are, I'll just say old school, were doing this way before the more modern, ways of required to do this, never developed the business side and have a hard time turning off the emotional mind. And it's a discipline and a practice, that's for sure. And believe me, I can be as emotional and dramatic as anybody. But when it comes to business, I try to be as cool as a cucumber, like a Mississippi River boat gambler or something like that. Robert, say you wanted to audition for GM or Ford, who would you contact? Well, you wouldn't reach out to GM or Ford. Auditions for a lot of the larger concerns, it depends on what we're talking about. Like, for instance, um, I for a while was I was the global voice for Chevrolet's Find New Roads campaign. So I did all the tags on their commercials for every country outside of the US. And that came through an agency. So, you need to be signed up with an agency to do that. I've also done work for Ford and BMW and Mercedes uh, through like corporate type stuff where just my video production clients, got it through them. I once did commercials for like Mercedes of San Francisco. These are commercials that came through a talent roster that I was on. So there's a number of ways that it happens, but it almost never happens by contacting the company directly. Guy says the law of the hat, put on the performance hat or the business hat. That's exactly right, Guy. We've got Khan and Cutter. Good morning. I am a neutral Italian English VO artist. How can I benefit from your courses? Most focus is on the North American speakers. Well, here's the thing, Khan, and that is voiceover is voiceover is voiceover. You may speak a different language, you may operate in a different country, but voiceover is global. Therefore, the principles of performance in a business operate exactly the same. That's why all of my students are not North American. So it helps to speak English because the course is delivered in English, but it really doesn't matter what country you live in, as it is a global business, and therefore the principles are universal in that regard. Hey, Dwight. Dwight's joined the blueprint, not looking back. Awesome, Dwight. Thanks. Tess, happy weekend to you. I have a directed Zoom session today at noon. Woohoo. Tess, good luck to you. That's fantastic. David, hello to you in Asheville, North Carolina. Theo, happy Friday to all from downtown Chicago. Khan's asking, have I developed a tech course for Apollo, the Universal Audio Apollo interface? No, I have not. There are Universal Audio has videos on their plugins and their hardware, so it's pretty simple. If you just search Universal Audio, you can find the videos and demonstrations that they have on their equipment. So I have not created a course just because it's readily available through YouTube. Scotty says, happy National Chocolate Chip Cookie Day. Thanks, Scotty. Let's see here. Loki, Dallas, Texas. Marius, I'm getting so much work through platforms like Fiverr and Upwork, and I keep on putting off direct marketing. Am I making a mistake by not doing any direct marketing? No, no, no. At some point, you should probably consider moving in that direction. But here's the thing: it's all about getting the work, first of all, and then it's about increasing your income. So, if you're getting a lot of work, that's a good thing. You want to develop that, and you want to continue to strategically increase your rates. And it's funny. A lot of people say, "Oh, you can't make money on these platforms." I just finished a $400 job on Fiverr, which is like the average amount I make on a job. I've made less and I've made a lot more. And I was tipped on top of that. So I just want to throw that as a side note. Anybody says that, they clearly have no clue as to what they're talking about. So, I mean, if you're getting work, great, keep it. Work to, you want to gradually increase your rates so you can make more money. But then once you have pro demos and you have a website and you feel, you have the confidence and the skill level, then it's time to start direct marketing. Oh, oops, I just scrolled too quickly. Let's see here. Bear with me just a moment. Got to back up here, find off. I guess it looks like the stream took off on me again. Scotty says 3 new book auditions yesterday and 2 went to completed status. Awesome. Wade, Philadelphia. Hello. Dwight, Marlon in the Philippines. Hey, Marlon. Bob, good morning. Alex, good morning from Orange County. Thought I'd cast in a game. Thought I'd get cast in a game the other day, but the CD hasn't contacted me after I asked a simple question. Yeah, you know what, Alex? Auditions are set to forget it. You set it, you do the audition, you let it go, you let it like it's a leaf on a stream. You just let it drift on past and don't give it another thought. You move on to the next one. Bradford, get out of here and go make that money. That's right. I will be very soon. Terry, thank you. Falston, Maryland. Tobias in Gloucester, England. Just wanted to thank you. I've set up my Fiverr and Voices account and working on my demos as we speak. Awesome, Tobias. Way to go. Thank you for the kind words. I appreciate that. John in Rhinebeck, New York. It's Marie in Texas. When it comes to different accents, I have a blended Midwestern accent and Cali accent. I'm wondering if that combination is a bit difficult for VO. No, I'm not necessarily. Embrace what you have, but work to also be able to do a more general American accent. I think 2 days ago, my YouTube video was actually about that. So just look back like 2 days ago. What was it? Wednesday, maybe? Take a look. I actually did a whole video on regional accents, and you can get some more information on that. Julie in Hummelstown, Pennsylvania. Thank you, Julie. Kyle in Maine. Guys, links to resources, my training resources. This channel is not my training program. It's where I'm able to come in for a few minutes and share some tips and strategies. And I love doing that. And I love it when you guys use it. But if you're looking for an actual training program, comprehensive, step by step, go to the links and the resources below and check it out. Have a great and wonderful weekend. We'll talk to you guys soon.